Hey everybody, it's Jordan Cunliffe. I'm back here today with another video. Um, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what's on my mind today. Some of the things I keep thinking about are, I'm really proud of myself having 96 days sober today, and that's huge. I never thought that was possible. I thought, to be brutally honest, I thought that I would die a drug addict. I thought that I would die addicted to drugs. I didn't know what a life of sobriety looked like for me. Um, and just 96 days later, I know that there's bigger and better things for me in life. One of the things that I kind of have to remind myself is that recovery is a process. It's not something that happens in a day. Even though you kind of want it to, I had these feelings. Once I got sober, everything was just going to come easy. Life is just I'm going to get right on path with a career and all those things. And, ultimately, I will be able to do that one day. And I'm confident that as long as I stay sober, I will be able to achieve some of those things and accomplish some of those dreams. But in the meantime, and in reality, I'm only 96 days sober. I'm still kind of learning to walk, so to speak. And that can be frustrating and very motivating, but it's kind of all about how I frame it. I think the correct way to do so is to really appreciate that I have 96 days of sobriety that I've never really had before, and to appreciate that that I'm no longer in active drug addiction, which, as I just said, I never thought would be possible. And so, kind of reframing all these things rather than getting down on myself. Oh man, I'm not into my career yet. I'm 31 years old and about to be 32, and I haven't really started a career or been really successful in life. I had a lot of early success in life through college soccer and getting a college degree. And then I spent the last 10 years kind of fucking up and, really digging a deep hole for myself. But, it's been a blessing in a lot of ways too. I have this new perspective on life of appreciation and being grateful for my family and really caring about the people around me. And that's really important. I think moving forward, those are going to be the things that keep me grounded and keep me motivated as I grow into my recovery. But, it's recovery is a process and it doesn't happen overnight. So if you're new to recovery or you're deep in active addiction, try to think about it with a practical mindset. Don't let your drug addiction keep you fearful of life and hold you down and think that you're going to be a loser and you're never going to make anything of yourself, or just because you're early in recovery that you haven't accomplished all these things yet, because reality kind of does set in. You're like, holy shit. um, I'm 31, about to be 32 years old, and I haven't done anything with my life, at least not anything that I really dreamed of when I was younger and when I was in college and where I thought my life was headed. But rather, I try to look at it as that recovery is something that I have to work at every day. It's a lifestyle. Each and every day I kind of have to wake up and decide that I'm going to be a better version of myself today than I was yesterday. I'm going to be more grateful. I'm going to be more helpful to others. I'm going to work harder at my recovery. I'm going to work harder at accomplishing my dreams. And, part of that also is just kind of keeping that perspective of where you're at, and I think patience is a big part of that. And patience and self-awareness are really two key components in being able to keep a positive mindset in your recovery. So, it's this balance of, okay, I'm 31 or 32 years old and I'm just getting out of drug addiction and I haven't really accomplished all the things I want to accomplish. And that can induce some anxiety and a little bit of fear and give me some thoughts of failure. But, I have to look at it from a positive perspective. I'm 96 days sober, which I never had before. So that's an accomplishment. And that tells me that I'm on the right path. And it really is, it really is a day by day thing. I always heard that, recovery is one day at a time, and sometimes one moment at a time. And I never really understood what that meant. But you can't rush sobriety. You can't rush recovery. You only get to 100 days sober, one day at a time. And it's cliche. And to anybody out there who's struggling, I know that sounds lame, and you've probably heard it a million times, but it's the absolute truth. You just have to stay present and really think about what you're doing right, to keep that positive mindset. I'm 96 days sober today, and I believe that I'm going to make it through the day. I'm going to have 97 days tomorrow, but I'm just going to make sure that I don't use today, and you just kind of have to reinvent your recovery lifestyle. Recovery looks a little bit different for every person. I'm realizing, what works for me may not work for you, but there are some common themes that I think kind of spread across the board to everybody, and that's being honest with yourself about where you're at, in a positive way. So, yeah, I haven't accomplished all the things that I wanted to by this point in my life, but that doesn't mean that I'm never going to accomplish them. I just have to take the right steps each and every day and try to be a little bit better each and every day. I read this book by James Clear called Atomic Habits, and it talks about just being 1% better, or 1% better version of yourself each and every day. And it's true, and it can be frustrating to think, oh my God, how am I going to get to these? How am I going to accomplish these career goals, or how am I going to do this in life or that in life? Well, the answer is each and every day waking up and deciding to take the actions necessary to get there. So, for me, what that looks like is, number one, every day I make sure that I don't use drugs. And that's the most important. Sobriety, and in any recovering addict, or especially early in recovery, you have to make recovery the number one priority, because without it, nothing else is possible. And because if you get hooked back on drugs again, then you're digging your hole even deeper. And when you finally decide to make that step to get into recovery again, you're going to be even farther behind. So my number one goal is to each and every day is to stay sober. And as long as I do that, I know that I'm going to be able to work on the other things. Like, just for example, just these videos. It's kind of something that I thought about doing for a long time, but I knew that I wouldn't have the discipline to do them and to be consistent with them each and every day if I wasn't sober. And it was always just a dream, but a dream when you're in active addiction is not a dream that can become alive. And I felt that in a really hard way. But now that I'm sober, I really believe that anything is possible, and that I do have a bright future. Recovery really is a lifestyle. You have to change all the people you are hanging out with, and I've had to do that. I don't associate with any of the people that I used to use with, not because I'm better than them or anything. It's just if they're still in active addiction, I can't be around people that are living that lifestyle, because it's going to be detrimental to me. I can have empathy for them and wish them the best, but and if they're ever ready to get into recovery, I'm open and willing to try to teach them the things I've learned in my early recovery, and hopefully it works for them too. But it takes a dedicated effort each and every day to stay sober, and so and that's my new lifestyle. I try to live a life of discipline and routine and honesty and accountability and humility. Those are kind of the 5 pillars that I am trying to live my life by each and every day. It's not easy every day, and it's it's easy to kind of feel like you're a victim when you're in recovery. It's easy to feel like the world isn't fair, and the world isn't fair necessarily, but there are certain choices we make along the way that really put us in the position that we're in, especially as drug addicts. We make a lot of bad decisions, and we live a negative lifestyle for a really long time. And we kind of fall victim to this victim mentality. And early on in my recovery, I've just tried to really maintain an attitude that as long as I stay sober, I'm going to be able to accomplish the things that I want in life. And it's a life of discipline. It's a life of pushing through things when things aren't hard, or when things are hard. One of the mottos I live by is I'm just not going to use no matter what. No matter what I'm going through, no matter what bad news I get, no matter what failures I come across, I'm not going to use, because using will just make it worse, and it pushes me farther away from accomplishing my dreams. I mean, what I've learned kind of is that failure is something that everybody goes through, and I've experienced a lot of it in active addiction, and I'm going to experience more of it sober. But the difference is that when I do fail at something, I'm not going to get down on myself about it and use drugs as a reason to cope. I'm going to try to look at what I did wrong and take accountability for it, and just say, this I wasn't good enough at this today, but I'm going to be better tomorrow. I heard something, and something I really think is important for anybody in life, but especially people going through hard times, and especially drug addiction, is that there really is no such thing as failure. The only way that you fail at something is if you choose not to look at what you did wrong and learn from it and correct the mistake. The the failure is when you don't learn from the mistake. It's not the actual mistake itself. And I that's something that I use to kind of motivate me every day. I'm not a failure in life because I was a drug addict. I made a series of mistakes and lived a kind of negative, damaging lifestyle for a long time. And the only way to correct that is to learn from my mistakes and to not repeat those mistakes, and that starts with staying sober. And, I think that perspective is good for anybody, but, it helps keep me on the positive mindset of just like, I'm going to live a life of redemption, and I'm going to stay sober, and I know the good things are going to come as a result of that. So, to anybody out there that's kind of feeling negative about where they are in recovery, or feeling like a loser, I felt all those things, and I'm sure I'll feel some of those things some days, when I'm having cravings or whatever. I'm kind of having a down day, but just the thing to focus on is that you're going to make it through the day. You're going to be a better version of yourself tomorrow. Don't let those negative feelings and thoughts bring you down any longer than they have to. Try to snap out of them. Go do something to work on your recovery, or go do something with a support group, or something outside in nature to kind of get you out of that negative mindset, and attack the day differently the following day. That's kind of all you can do, is make the next right decision. So if you're out there and you're struggling, I feel your pain. I hope that this video gives you a little bit of perspective, that it is possible to get out of your drug addiction and whatever you're going through. And there can be better days ahead for you, as long as you have the discipline and the self-awareness, and are willing to assess yourself honestly, and just kind of build on that without getting a negative attitude. Each and every day I say, kind of, what did I do wrong yesterday? What did I do wrong for the last 10 years? And those are the mistakes I'm not going to make again. And I'm not going to. And I know that. I'm going to do everything I can in my power to make sure that I'm a better version of myself each and every day. So if you're out there, my heart goes out to you. I really wish a better life for you. And I hope that you know that you can make the changes that you need to live the life that you want to. Remember that when you do decide to make those changes, it's not going to come easy. Don't be down on yourself because, 10 days in, 30 days in, 90 days in, 6 months in, though all those things that you want in life haven't happened. Recovery is a lifestyle, it's a process, and it's something that takes time and patience. But just keep working at it, keep chipping at it day by day, and I promise you life will get better. And you'll be real proud of yourself, and that's huge. That's one thing I know that I didn't have in addiction, is I had low self-esteem, and I was really shameful, and I had a bad view of myself. Today I can honestly say that I feel a lot better about myself, and I don't look at myself as a loser. I look at somebody who has a lot of potential and is working to fulfill that potential. So Hope everybody has a good day. Much love. Peace, y'all.